I'm talking about, babe. Yeah. Now it's time for me to...
Okay, y'all, hey. Welcome back. This part 2. Now, y'all saw what I said at the end, unexpected ways. Now, we ain't gonna play these little games. We about to get into the story. Now, if you haven't already got your... Wait, hold on. I love you guys. I ain't say that in the other video, but I love y'all. Y'all know I love y'all. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. I love you guys so much. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for the new subscribers and my old ones, the ones who comment consecutively. Y'all comment all the time. You know, I know who you are. Even if you commented like 1 or 2 times, when I see y'all little username, I know exactly who you are. I love y'all so much. And if you don't comment, I still love you. I fuck with you because you watching my shit. I love you. But anyway, without further ado, y'all, get your drink, get your snack, get your herbal, and we finna get into this video. Y'all already know this is part 2 of the bullshit.
2 shots of vodka.
Okay, y'all, I'm drinking tea again. I'm still on the tea shit because I'm trying to pump this out because I fuck with y'all. Cheers to consistency in this motherfucker. Cheers. It's too soon to be cussing, but y'all might bleep that out. But y'all, cheers to consistency because your girl been consistent. I think on Saturday I'm gonna record a video, what is it called? Unpopular opinion. And I'm gonna drink and take shots. And then y'all, I got another special video with me and my friend Tiffany. So y'all stay tuned to that. That shit there, y'all gonna be laughing, might bust your sides out or whatever. But we gonna have a fun time in them videos because y'all just put earphones in. Don't be listening to this around your kids and shit because we gonna be talking some crazy shit, some nasty shit, some weird shit, y'all just stay tuned to those videos because they coming. Hopefully I'll have them dropped next week. But anyway, let's get back into the video. So remember I was telling y'all about karma and it come back in unexpected ways. So this is what happened. So right after I got that, you know, I left the job because I was doing the 5-finger discounts at both the jobs, right? Okay. I got the job working for Metro. And if you haven't saw that video, I'm going to leave it down below when I got fired, when I just got my CDL, the horrible CDL story. Okay, I'm going to leave that down below. Now, we ain't going to get into all of that shit. Just know I got the job there and I got fired. Now, this is what catapulted, this is what, how do you say the word? I ain't even about to say the word because I'm gonna be sitting up here like, what? Am I saying it right? This is what started all of the downward spiral where I said karma is real and that shit will come back in unexpected ways. You might not expect it to be the way that you thought, but it came back. Okay, let me tell y'all, this is what happened. I got that job and I ended up getting fired right before Christmas. Now, before all of this, I got the job in July. So I was working there about 6 months. I was getting money. You hear me? More money than even me taking the stuff at the job and getting my check. I was getting paid very well at my retail job. But when I started working there, I was getting paid every week. Every Friday, I was getting paid. And $20 an hour almost in 2004 is a lot of money for a 22-year-old. That's a lot of money. Do the calculation. I don't know, go on Google and you put the equivalence of that to today. And you're gonna see what I'm saying. I had an apartment, my apartment, I had a townhouse. I always tell y'all about the little story about the townhouse. We used to go down in that little townhouse. That townhouse, I was paying $495 for rent for a 1-bedroom townhouse, and it was a big townhouse. You cannot get that now. Ain't no way. You gonna be living in the slums for that price. So I had that, and then I had my little hoopty that I told y'all I used to get pulled over, and I ain't even tell y'all about them story times yet, but they coming. I used to get pulled over a lot in my little hoopty, but then I ended up upgrading my car to a little bullshit ass Ford Focus, but I ended up not even keeping that shit. After I got rid of that, I had that Ford Focus for like 2 months. I got a Mitsubishi Eclipse, my little red Barbie car. I had that Mitsubishi. Who at my house? I don't even know where the hell I left off at, but let me let me just go into the next thing. Okay, so I think I was talking about my car. So I had upgraded my car. I got a Mitsubishi Eclipse. I was making good money at this job. So I had got my car. I already had my apartment, but so I had an apartment, my car, had all this stuff going on, and I had my relationship, my boyfriend, you know, Liam. I told y'all, which is my late husband. He had ended up coming back because he was living in North Carolina. So he ended up moving back down here because he was getting out the service because he was in the military. So he ended up getting out. He did his time in the military, and then he ended up coming back. So when he came back, he wasn't working right out. I was working, and he wasn't living with me either. He would just be at my house all the time. All of this is significant because y'all need to know all this stuff. Okay, you saw, so I had a job, boyfriend, car, in my place. 4 things, right? Okay, everything started looking good. Everything was going fine. My boy, when I would come home from work, I had like worked a split shift. So I would go to work at like 5 in the morning and get off at 9 a.m. Then I had to go back to work by 2 or 3, and I would get off at like 6. So that's what time that I had like a split shift. So when I would get off, he would be at my house because I gave him a key to my place. And he didn't have a job, like I told y'all. He just got off the service. So he wasn't trying to work like right out. So I didn't care. I didn't care if he was there because of course I want him at my house. Yes, be at my house. Yes. So, okay, now let's get to the part where everything started falling the fucking apart. All right. December comes. I had a bad accident with the truck, with the bus, but it wasn't a wreck. It was like an incident. It wasn't a wreck. I've already went through the whole, I'm going to leave the video down below. I've already told the story, so I'm not going to get into the story, but just know I had a really bad incident, and that was my 3rd strike with them. They don't play that shit, 0 tolerance. They give you like 3 chances, and then they let your ass go. So I had the incident, so I ended up losing my job. And it was around the Christmas time. So I was looking for another job. I was putting applications in everywhere. I was looking for every place that I could work at. Really, it was really in the retail part. I had just got my CDL, so I didn't really know that I had a key to a better opportunity with the CDL. I didn't know. I just got it on some whim, like let me just get it type shit. I wasn't thinking that I can make a lot of money with this fucking license. I didn't know that at the time. I found that out we gonna get there. I found that out later. Okay, so I had been looking for a job. I couldn't find a job, whatever. So the first thing that happened was I was looking and I couldn't find, so I started getting behind on my rent. Now, I know probably people were probably like, okay, you was making all this side money, you was doing all this extra stuff. Your rent was $495. Now, the Joelonda today would have been paying my rent ahead a lot. Like when my rent was $495. And my car note was $280. I never got behind on my car note though, because it was $280. My car note was fine, even through all of this shit. I always was paying my car note. But my rent, I didn't pay my rent ahead because I wasn't that type of thinker. Now I am, because I'm older and I've gone through some things. So I know now, like when you get extra money, if you could put it on a bill and pay it up a month or 2 months or 3, because I used to pay my bills up 6 months. This taught me a whole lot of shit. I used to pay my rent, my electric bill up 6 months, my gas bill up 6 months, my cable bill up 6 months. I used to pay all my bills up 6 months. So if I paid it in February, I didn't have to pay it until September. I did that for many years because of this situation. It taught me a lot. Okay, so I didn't pay my rent. I pay my rent like normal. When I get paid on the first of the month, I would pay my rent. So I had my rent paid for like January, but I didn't have my rent paid for February. Okay, so I had till February 1st. So I started freaking out. Now, I talked to the people in the office and I was telling them, I don't have a job. I'm still looking for a job. Until January, I still could not get a job. And I was like, if I can't get a job, this is my young mind. then I'm like, I can't live in this apartment. I didn't think about finding assistance. I didn't think about asking the rent people, can they just give me a little bit more time? I didn't think about any of that. I just told them I didn't have it yet and I was trying to get, and they were like, okay, let us know if you need anything. I didn't utilize like resources because I'm young and I'm so independent. I didn't ask people to, what should I do in the situation? You know, like my parents and stuff. I didn't even ask them. I just told them I couldn't find a job and I didn't know what I was gonna do. So what had happened was I ended up just leaving and abandoning the apartment. I put all my shit in storage. I did it like over the weekend when I knew the leasing office wasn't gonna be open. So I took all my stuff because I was in the point, I was like, what if they see me moving stuff? They gonna think I'm leaving or whatever and I didn't pay my rent or whatever. That's kind of shit I was on, y'all, just stupid. So all of this I'm telling y'all is a lesson to just don't do these things type stuff. This is why I'm telling y'all this story. So I ended up leaving the apartment. Now, when I left the apartment, I'm gonna tell y'all this. I had a pit bull. And she was a baby when I got her. So you know, dogs eat shit up. They bite walls. They eat the carpet. They eat the floor. I never had an animal. Never had a pet as a child. So I never knew what they would do. So I had a dog and I had a cat. Now I have cats and dogs now too. But back then I had a dog, I had a pit bull, and I had a kitten. My pit bull fucked my house up. The apartment, bad. She ripped up the carpet. She tore up the tile in the kitchen because I would lock her up with a baby gate in the kitchen when I'm at work and my boyfriend wouldn't be at the house. So, and it was his dog. It wasn't my dog. I was keeping it for him, but she was my dog because I had her for like a year and a half. Without him, he wasn't even in Houston. He was in North Carolina. So I had her. So she was tearing up my house. She was ripping up the carpet, ripped up the tile, ate the wall up. She just was tearing the place up. There was no place for an animal, a dog or whatever. So when I left, I had got a huge bill from the apartments because it was a fee for them for the damages and then my rent because I had just signed a new lease. I just signed a new lease and then I broke it when I didn't stay in the apartment. Okay. And I also had told my boyfriend that he needed to help me with the fees for the damages because that's his dog. And at some point he was there when she was damaging the house. Like we would leave and go out and come back and she done ate the tile up. And he was like, you know, fuss at her about it. But I'm like, you got to help me with this, whatever. Okay. He said he would, but he never did. But he said he would, but he never did. Let me say that again. He never did. Okay. So I ended up talking to my dad and my dad was like, just come home. Just come home. So I ended up moving back in my dad's house. So I took all my stuff and I put it in storage and I moved back with my dad. Now, my dad has a sister that lives in New York and the sister wants to move to Texas to like start new. So she ended up moving down there like maybe a month or so after I moved with my dad. She ended up moving into the house too. So it was me, my dad, his wife, and my aunt. So all of us, and we all had our own rooms. So before my aunt ended up moving to down here, I think I was living in my dad's place for she didn't move right away. It was some months after I lived, because I moved with my dad in February. I think my aunt ended up coming down in like April, maybe. Yeah, like April. Okay, so yeah, I think it was like April she came down. I'm not sure, but she came down. Okay. But in the time of her coming, okay, so we ain't gonna talk about my aunt yet. We'll bring her back in later. Let's go back to me moving. So February, I ended up breaking the lease. I ended up moving back with my dad, put all my shit in storage, put my whole apartment in storage. I had a little bit of money, but I didn't have a lot of money. So the money that I did have, I paid my storage. I paid my storage up and I paid my car, and that's all I could really do. So, and I ain't have no car insurance. I ain't have shit. So, okay, that's a significant thing. All right, now I moved with my dad. I ended up, my stepmom was like, you need to file for unemployment. See, if I would have asked her this, I would have did this when I was in the apartment, because I could have still probably had my apartment. I would have been kind of struggling a little bit, but it wouldn't have been so bad. I still would have had my own place. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I would have been getting the unemployment check, which I was getting every week, which would have paid my rent and my car. And food and shit was cheap back then, so I would have been able to still survive, but I didn't know. Okay, it was already too late. I already broke the lease. I already did all that. Okay, I couldn't go back. So I found unemployment, and I was getting an unemployment check. It was probably like $380 a week. Y'all, one day I got the check in the mail, because this was before they direct deposit and all this shit. They do different now. I think you get direct deposit. I haven't had unemployment since this time, but I believe now it goes directly to your account. Back then, they send you a check. Okay, I got a check, right? I would get a check every week from them. This day I got the check, right? Hop in the car. I'm going to go cash the check. I'm in my dad's neighborhood. Y'all, I hit the corner. I know y'all like, what's about to happen? I'm in my Mitsubishi Eclipse, brand new. I only had it for probably like a year, not even. Brand fucking new. Hit the corner in my dad's neighborhood. It's a car coming out the driveway. She doesn't stop. She's still coming out the driveway as I'm driving down, and I'm driving down the main road. It's not one of them. It's like the main street. It's not one of those streets that's, you know how they have houses on streets. It's like that. I'm driving down, she coming out the driveway. She not looking, and I hit the back of her car and like T-boned the car. So I hit the back of her car and fucked the whole front end up. Fucked it up to where my car should have been totaled, but I'm tell y'all all that. Okay, fucked the car up. Talking about, I already lost my apartment. I already had to move back with my dad. That already was a hit to the ego, to the pride, to the everything, because I'm independent. I'm a very independent person, so I don't like to rely on people. But I did that. Hit the fucking car. Fucked my car up. And when I did that, y'all, I fucking lost my goddamn mind. I was overly emotional. I never been in a car accident, so that was the first time I ever was in a car accident. So what I did was, it was around the corner from my dad's house. So I got back in the car. I told the people I was gonna come right back. My dad lived around the corner. I'm gonna just take the car, because I didn't want them to tow my car or nothing. So I drove the car back, fucked up. And I don't know, it was by the grace of God, because that car shouldn't even been drove because of how bad it got hit. Because it was all the whole side of it. It wasn't like the front of it. It was like the side where the light and stuff is. All that side was like ate up, tore up. I drove it back, parked it in front of my dad's house, and I walked back to the scene. When I walked back to the scene, they was like, it was my fault. And you know, I'm young, I don't know anything. Now I know that wasn't my fault at all, because I have the right of way. I have the right of way. When you pulling out of something, you're supposed to be looking both ways. Now, granted, I should have been paying attention to what had happened. Was I had looked down and I was grabbing the paper for the check. I was grabbing it off the floor because it fell on the floor. I should just left the shit on the floor. But I did. I tried to grab it. And when I looked down that quick second, I hit the car. Now, the police didn't give me no ticket. I didn't get a ticket. They asked me where the car was. I told them it was at the house. They didn't say nothing about me leaving the scene or nothing, because I came back. So it wasn't nothing like that. So I didn't get no ticket or anything. But what had happened was, basically they basically tried to say it was my fault, and they was trying to get money out of me. My insurance denied stuff from them. So no, I'm sorry, I didn't have no insurance. So I'm not thinking. Now I know. When a person don't got insurance, there ain't really much you can do. You can't really do too much. You can sue them, you can do other stuff, but really you can't really do a lot because they don't have insurance. So you have to really come out of pocket. So their insurance had to pay for the car and things like that. And then the insurance company was trying to like blackmail me into paying for the damages, but they were trying to make me sign something and I wouldn't do it. I never signed anything. Okay. So, and I'm gonna tell you about that in a minute. Okay, I never signed nothing, never did nothing. They just kept threatening me and trying to tell me, well, you got to pay this money a month. So me being scared and not knowing that they can't do that, I ended up just paying them the money, the insurance. I wasn't paying the people. I was paying directly the insurance company. Like it was $100 or something like that. $140. It was something like that. It was something low, and I was paying it for a long time until I got a lawyer, and the lawyer fixed all of that shit and told me, if they come after you, let them come after you, and you better not pay another cent. Where's the documents that state that you have to pay this? I'm gonna just tell y'all, it was no documents, and the lawyer told me don't pay another cent, and if they say anything, come for you, send them my information, and I got you. And that was another accident I had. Like, I was paying this from probably 4 years until I got that, because it was a lot of damages. Like, their car was fucked up, but I didn't pay no more, and I never heard from them, and they never said nothing back to me. So I guess they was like, leave it alone. She didn't pay enough. I don't know, but I stopped paying. But anyway, so that had happened. I fucked my car up, and I had no insurance. So how was I gonna get the car fixed? And I ain't had no job, and I was only getting that little money, that money a week. So that had happened. Okay, now, next thing that had happened. This all happened back to back. Everything I'm telling y'all was like within a 2-week span. 2 weeks. My late husband, because at the time he was my boyfriend. So he's my boyfriend at this moment. Okay. He loses his father. He lost his dad, and he was going through a lot. He was really close to him. So he was going through a whole lot. I didn't know what to do because I was going through a lot myself, but I was trying to still be there for him and comfort him and help him through it. But it's like he didn't want my help. He was just pushing me away or whatever. So he ended up breaking up with me. He broke up with me 2 days before Valentine's Day. And I was trying to talk him out of it, but that wasn't working. His mind was already made up. When his dad passed away a few weeks after that. And once that had happened, it was just like, I didn't hear from him. He would, if anything I heard from him was only, did you pay the car? And that was it. I didn't hear nothing else. I tried to talk to him about us. He wasn't trying to hear it. He was over it. And there was nothing I could do. So that had happened. So I ain't had no job, no car, no boyfriend, no place. And that put me in a bad depression. The worst one I've ever had in my entire life. I've never been in a place that dark in my life, even now. Like, that's the only time I've ever been in a really dark place. It was so bad. I had lost 20 pounds. I was already skin and bones already, but then I lost an additional 20 pounds. So I was like 150 pounds, and I'm 5'10". So just imagine, I look like a crackhead. I would lock myself in my room in the dark. I wouldn't talk to nobody. I wouldn't answer my cell phone. I wouldn't go nowhere. I wouldn't eat. My dad used to tell me I'm in a dungeon. He would come in there and be like, you got cabin fever. You need to get out your room. You need to get some air. You need to just walk. You need to just do this. He's like, don't lock yourself in here. My dad never yelled, judged, fussed, nothing. He just would be like, Joelonda, you just got to get out the funk. He's like, you just locking yourself in your room, sleeping all day is not going to make the situation better. He's like, but nobody can really get you out of those states unless you get yourself out of that depressive state. It takes you to do it. You can hear people talking to you and things like that. You can take heed to it, but the only person that can get you out of it is you. So, I was like that from February until May. I don't know how long that is, y'all. I think that's like 4 months. I was, like I told y'all, I didn't eat. I would barely eat. I would eat just to, like, the hunger pains. I couldn't take it no more. I would eat a little bit, but I would be in my room. I didn't look for a job. I didn't do anything. I didn't have no way to look for a job because I didn't have a car. My car was outside, messed up in front of my dad's house. So I didn't have no means to find a job, even if I was to walk around the corner and try to like get a job like close to my dad's house. It wasn't working out for me. So then my aunt ended up moving there. Like I told you, it was probably like April. She ended up getting a job. She has a CDL. So I always say this too, you know, when things happen to you, it's because it's already lined up. It's not a coincidence that these things happen. It's already lined up the way that it's supposed to be lined up. Things are already written and supposed to be. That's my mind. That's how I believe things are. And I believe that because of circumstances that happened throughout my life. I'm like, this ain't a coincidence. This was already supposed to happen. This was written this way. This is, you know, I'm a huge believer. So I'm like, this happened for this reason. This happened for this reason. Because there's no way it just lined up like that. I don't know. But anyway, I'm saying this to say this. I was in a depressive state for February to May. My stepmom worked at a daycare. She was under the director. So it was the director, and then it was my stepmom that was running the show. So my stepmom was like, it's summertime, we need help. She was like, do you want a job? You want to work at a daycare? And I told her, yeah, I'll just take, because I didn't have no other way. I didn't have no choice. I needed a job. And I wasn't one of them people who were like, I'm not working this job. I'm not working. I needed a job and I need some money. I didn't give a damn. So I was like, I need something to help me pay my car. Not pay my car, no, because I was still getting unemployment, y'all. But I needed to fix my car. And my car to fix was a lot of money. That little money I was getting from unemployment was not going to be enough to fix that car. And then eventually, you know, that money's going to run out and I'm going to need money eventually. So my stepmom ended up giving me a job and I worked at that place for 3 months. I worked the whole summer only. My aunt ended up, my aunt had a CDL. She ended up working at General Hospital, driving for them. So she was like, when did she ask me? She asked me like in, I want to say it was August or July, August, July. She was like, do you want to get a job up here? You want me to get you a job? And I said, yeah. So she was like, I'm going to help you get a job. And she ended up giving me an interview and I ended up getting that job and I started working that job in September. The first week of September, I got that job. Okay, but before that job, I was working at the daycare. And then I worked at the daycare and I was getting the unemployment. And y'all, that came back too. I had to end up paying that back. But I didn't know that you couldn't do both. But I ended up getting both. And I ended up having to pay it back. But I wasn't tripping because I had a job. So I took the money I was getting in the checks and I fixed my car and I got my car fixed. And in the time of all of this is when I met up with Ray. This is when Ray came back into my life, and this is what catapulted me to get out of the depression, because Ray would talk life into me. He would speak life into me. Ray, that's why I said people and things is not coincidence. It's already written. It's already put there. He came back into my life and he would talk to me. He would encourage me. He would check on me. He would come. I had another job. I had worked at the daycare and I got a security job doing overnight security. He would come to my job when I did security overnight. He would just hang out with me like half of the night. Sometimes he would stay all night. If he was off the next day, he would stay with me. This is when I got my car fixed. And then I would go to his job and I would eat lunch with him and stuff like that. And then we just built that relationship back. And it just helped lift me up. I told y'all I was skin and bones, y'all. I was like 150 pounds. He was just encouraging me, like, take care of yourself, do this, do that. Don't discourage yourself that, yes, you went through this, but he was like, you doing this now and you need to be proud of yourself, do this, do that. Like he was uplifting me. And you know how they go when you doing good, when you glowing up, when you is bomb, when you just, everything starting to look good, you start feeling good, that confidence go back, you know they gonna spin the block. So guess who spent the block? And I wasn't even tripping off of it. My boyfriend. So after I started feeling good, doing better, whatever, getting out of the funk, got my car fixed, doing this, he started seeing and noticing that I'm different and I'm changing. And then he started trying to come back and I let him back in. And that's when y'all see the story time where I told you I had 2 boyfriends at the same time. Yeah, I'll link that down below as well. And that's in this time. And then my aunt ended up getting me the job at General Hospital. And I started making money close to what I was making. Not as much at Metro, but it was a far off. It was close. It wasn't no $20, of course. It was way less than that. But it was better than the daycare. and I didn't have to work 2 jobs. It was working there was giving me what I needed instead of me working security and the daycare. So I could quit both of those jobs and I would be able to survive, get a place, pay my car, do all that, and live with that job because I was driving for them. So my aunt got me that job, and then once I got that job, I stayed with my dad till January, and then I ended up getting my own place. So I stayed with him for that whole year. This was probably 2007. I think, what was it 2007? I think it was 2000. No, it was either 2007 or 2006. It was somewhere in there. I stayed with him the whole time, and then I ended up getting my own place, which was the following year. And I got my own place, and then there you had it. I ain't never had to go back, and I've been going up ever since because I learned my lesson. But that karma, I'm telling y'all, that whole year, I was, man, for about 7-8 months, it was bad for me. I was in a bad, dark place. I wasn't a place where I didn't want to exist, but I was in a place where I just didn't want to coexist with people. I wanted to just isolate myself, be a hermit. I didn't want to be around people. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to have fun. I feel like I was punishing myself. But that's not how you're supposed to go through things. When you're going through things, you need to have support of other people, encouraging words. And if the people around you are not encouraging you, encourage yourself. So many things you can listen to, put on affirmations for self-healing, love, peace, and to help you with negative thoughts and negative energy. Listen to them things and you will come out of it. It's all about loving you and knowing that it's not your fault. Yes, you might have did something bad, because that's what I told myself. Yes, I did something bad and I learned my lesson. And in me learning my lesson, I'm not going to ever do that shit again. And that's the way I live my life. I will never do no stuff like that, because yes, I just told y'all, I could be a little bit mean, vindictive, but I learned that that's not the things that I was doing is not the way you do it. You can be mean and vindictive, you can say little things, you can do all that. But at the end of the day, where is it going to get you? What is it going to really get you? What is it going to really do for you? Some things don't need to be said, because all that stuff that you putting out, all that energy you give into that situation or those people or whatever, it ain't going to get you nowhere. It ain't going to do anything. It's not going to change the situation. It might just make the situation worse. And that's the way I live my life. And that's what I learned. I learned a lot more than just that. But I learned to be more responsible. I learned to be more aware of the things that I'm doing and the consequences that I have to deal with after those things. I also learned that I love me more than anything. I have to love me, and I have to take care of me and my mental, and not let nothing come in and destroy or hinder me or make me not a believer of what I'm capable of doing, because I'm in control. And if I'm not good, ain't nothing around me gonna be good. And now I got kids, I gotta be good, because if I ain't good, they ain't good. So, just a learning lesson, a huge learning lesson. One of my biggest lessons in my whole life, my whole 39 years, that's my biggest lesson. And I just wanted to give y'all that. I just wanted to tell y'all that. I wanted to just let you know that people are not perfect. We are not perfect people. People do things, whether you put it out there and you expose your imperfections, that's on you. I'm not making this video to get anybody's sympathy or anybody's praise or anything. I just want to tell my story and just let y'all know that I'm not perfect, and neither are you. And I'm okay with telling people the stuff that I did. I tell people all the time stuff that I've done, and I'm not proud of it, but it made me who I am today. And without me going through those lessons, I don't know how I would be or who I would be now without going through those learning lessons. That's life. I was young, and when you're young, that's when you make your mistakes, and then you learn from them, and then you don't take those into your latter years. You learn from that stuff and you do better. And that's the end of that. I ain't finna go no more. I'm done. I know y'all like, damn, she lecturing me. I ain't lecturing. I'm just somebody out here gonna take heed to what I'm saying, and just know that it's gonna be all right, and really believe that it's gonna be all right. It takes you to make the changes. You have to do something. You can't sit down and be like, I want to do this, I want to do that, and you're not doing anything to make that shit happen. Get out get off your ass and make that shit shake. Make it happen. If you not making the money you want to make, go find a way to figure out how can I get to where I'm trying to be financially. What is the things that I need to do? Start studying it. Start looking up stuff. If you need to get 2 jobs, if you need to you need to ask your family, can they watch your kids? Can they do this? The people that you trust to help you get to the next level. Do what you got to do and make that shit happen legally. Make it happen. I believe in you. I know you can do it. I'm a testimony of that shit. If ain't nobody else, I know it can happen. You can do it. You got it. You can do it, and you gonna do it. Just get your ass up. Get up and do it. It could be financial. It could be you losing weight. It could be you want to change your lifestyle as far as being healthier. It could be dating life. Look at the circumstances and then evaluate the shit, analyze the shit, and then break it down and then change it. And it starts with you. And that's it. I'm done with all this. I love y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I know it ain't my normal, but I hope you got something out of it. And then just stay tuned, because I'm going to have some funny shit coming. I'm going to make y'all laugh, and I'm going to make y'all be like, this girl is fucking crazy. But just stay tuned. And just be on the lookout. It's going to be a video of me and my friend Tiffany. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next upload. Bye.